Welcome back to our channel. What I want to talk about today is older travelers and what is important to us. Not just Tanya and I, but what's important to all of you out there. And how do we adjust our travels and our experiences to fit what is important to us? Okay, so I've been thinking about this a lot right now. We're getting ready to go on another trip, and so I have time to reflect. So let me just throw out some things for you. First of all, okay, are you an older traveler? Well, okay, what does that even mean? I don't want to say old traveler. I don't like that word. We're all getting older. You don't have to get old. Sometimes they say, okay, well, if you're over 40, over 50, over 60, well, then you're an older traveler. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's whatever works for you. Generally, they say if you're over 55, then you're considered to be an older traveler. But whatever it is, let's just use that one as a benchmark. So the thing is, I thought, okay, what is it that is important to people when they travel, when they're older? Is it staying in a really nice hotel? Is it eating in a really nice restaurant? Is it immersing themselves in cultural endeavors and experiences? Is it seeing as much of the world as you possibly can in the rest of your life? And basically, I think what it gets down to is, what is it that brings you joy when you're traveling? And we've talked about this in a couple of previous videos, and that's kind of the way I like to look at travel, is wherever I go, wherever Tanya and I go, is, okay, what is it that's bringing joy to us? Did this make me happy? Am I glad I came here? Did I find what I was looking for? Did I find things that I had no idea I was looking for? Well, that happens an awful lot. So when we look at that, I know we're all different, and there are different things that make us happy when we travel. I mean, I have friends that absolutely abhor museums, and that is just a given. They will not go to a museum. It's just a non-starter. Okay, that's fine. That's good for them. Those are things, that's a difference for them. So what I thought, okay, I'm trying to look for commonalities though. What is it that older travelers have in common when they travel? What is it that in common maybe brings them joy or happiness? So being the savvy, kind of up-to-date guy I am, I immediately went to artificial intelligence and asked ChatGPT what were the top priorities of older travelers. And what I found is they listed 7 top travel priorities for older people. Now, some of these I agree with, some maybe not so much. Let me ask you, what do you think about each of these? Number 1 was cultural and educational experiences. Okay, I think we all pretty much agree with that. That's pretty important to older travelers. Number 2, comfort and convenience. And this includes things like cruises or guided tours or all-inclusive resorts and things like that. They want comfort and convenience. Well, I understand that. And I think that's the way we are as we've gotten older. The places that we used to stay in, we probably wouldn't be as happy in today as we once were. Number 3, relaxation and wellness. Older travelers like to go to yoga retreats. Well, that doesn't do much for me, but okay, that's an example. Spas, things that take place within nature, something that's going to give them some kind of a retreat. And I know that's important to a lot of people. Number 4, visiting family and friends. And in this category is especially visiting grandchildren and now great-grandchildren. Well, okay, that doesn't fit for Tanya and I because we don't have children, and so consequently we don't have any grandchildren. But I mean, we do have family here and there, and so that is somewhat of a priority. Number 5, bucket list destinations. We find that it is so important for older travelers to go to places that they always wanted to go. And this sort of gets into the area of once-in-a-lifetime trips. It's time to finally go see the pyramids of Giza. It's finally time to go see the Great Wall of China. It's finally time to go to the Taj Mahal. Let's go on a safari, some things like that. And Tanya and I have done a number of those things where we figured, okay, yeah, this is something that we should do. So that it becomes important. Number 6 is safety and security. And that is a factor that seems to come up a lot higher on that list in other things that I've looked at, where safety and security are probably the number one thing that many older travelers are concerned about. They want to make sure that there's a stable political environment wherever they're going, that they're going to be safe, that they're not going to be in harm's way or risk of illness or injury, and that if they are, there's some kind of a adequate health system that will take care of them. Well, so far, at least Tanya and I, that hasn't been a high priority for us. Obviously, we don't put ourselves in obvious danger, but I think over the decades of travel that we've done to over 130, maybe 135 countries, it kind of depends how you define a country, but all over the places we've been, very, very seldom do we ever find ourselves in anything that we could consider danger. You're always aware of your surroundings, and obviously don't go places where you shouldn't, and there's at least a higher likelihood that you might be in danger. So you just avoid those kinds of things. But while that's a priority for a lot of people, I think that sometimes that becomes too high of a priority. And I don't want to encourage people to do things that are going to get themselves hurt, but there's so many things I wouldn't worry about. Anyway, that's just me. Final one is sustainable and ethical travel. And I can see how that's becoming more important for older travelers. They want to go to a place that, respects the environment. If they go on a cruise, they want to make sure it's a cruise, hopefully, that doesn't spew out inordinate amounts of exhaust and diesel smoke, that kind of thing. But having gone through all that, there is one other travel priority that Tanya and I have discovered. I don't want to say recently, but it's become more pronounced more recently, and that is going to places where you are treated well, where you are respected, where people like you, or at least, act like they like you. And it goes beyond some of these other advantages. Okay, there's advantages of being old when you travel. You get senior discounts, wherever you go. If you're going to get a bus pass or sometimes a train pass or go into a theater or a museum, you get a senior discount. You always tell them, oh, I'm pensioner. Okay, great. No questions asked. Sometimes, especially if you're infirm or have some kind of issues, you can get priority boarding, on airlines or things like that. But probably the most important thing, and this is very relevant in places in Asia, in the Middle East, in Latin America, is that with age comes a certain level of respect. And we have noticed that. Let me just show you a clip from a video clip that we made on our last trip that it kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about. Tanya just brought up a interesting point in that, okay, not only do you not see very many Americans, but you virtually never see any travelers our age, American or otherwise. I mean, in the over 70
I haven't
group.
seen any.
Tanya has seen none. And I'm not really looking for them, but yeah. So, once again, if you are in the certainly over 60 and definitely in the over 70 or 75 category, which we are, or I am, the world is your oyster. I mean, you can come here and actually it's really interesting. Tanya, do you remember? People will give you their seat on buses and things like that. It's incredible. I mean, I've never considered myself old, but I guess we look old.
That's right. And walking upstairs, people while we walk upstairs, people try to get in front of us because they look at us and think we're going to be slow. Yeah,
but we're not, so we really smoke them. And since Tanya has let her hair grow naturally gray, this is a terrific advantage. I mean, we get catered to all over the place. Oh, please sit here. Oh, can you give us our seat? Wow, it's amazing. So, get old and get out there. So, this gets me to the final point here that I want to make is don't let age stop you from getting out there and finding joy in experiences and travel. It's almost like get old and get out there. You'll find it's just amazing. You have so many more advantages than young people or young backpackers where there's, they're just a dime a dozen. They're all over the place. But you as I'm not criticizing that, but I'm just saying, okay, as an older traveler, and especially as an older independent traveler, one who is not in a massive tour group that gets off the bus, looks at a thing, gets back on the bus, and people, they don't look at you as an individual person anymore. They just look at this blob of people. But if you're by yourself, wow, it's, there's sort of this natural reaction that they understand that you are deliberately getting out of your comfort zone. You are making the effort to be in their city, to be in their country. They want to know why you're there. Why would you ever come here? We don't see Americans here, and we very many, and we certainly don't see old people who are out by themselves. And they will, 9 times out of 10, this won't always happen, of course, but most of the time they will bend over backwards to be hospitable and nice, and as long as you let them know you're there, to converse with them or to find out about their life, about their city, about their country, wow, they're just they're so happy that you're doing that. Okay, so that is our message and our mission for the day, is to get old and get out there and enjoy yourselves, find that joy of travel, and we'll see you again in our next video. Thank you very much for watching.